I'm gonna try this next thing. This lady is staring hard. I'm gonna like turn my video camera if she keeps staring. Like, she's really interested in what I'm talking about, and I'm kind of glad. I hope people are just gonna be as interested on YouTube. Look at all the treats I got from Paris Baguette. Yeah, so I got a few things that I really wouldn't have gotten otherwise, because I usually don't ball like this, like usually don't get a haircut and then go buy other things, but you know, when it's needed, you know, treat yourself. I think I say that just about every single day, treat yourself, and it's becoming a little redundant to the point of where it's just my lifestyle, so that's kind of bad. And the reason I'm wearing headphones, I say this in every video just in case people forget, but I want the sound quality to be better. And this girl, the one thing about doing things in China is that no matter what you do, if you're a Waiguaren, which is a foreigner, you're gonna be looked at, and so naturally people are staring at me because I'm literally just sitting on the sidewalk. But yeah, I'm gonna be doing this video while eating some of these things. Some of them are spring related, like strawberry. I know strawberry and chocolate flavored things, like these specific ones are very springy. Let's just get started. This is gonna be things you need to know or need to think about before coming to NYU Shanghai. Wait, I'm trying to remember what I put. Oh, shit, I can't remember what I put, but the first thing is that the Chinese people love their bakeries, and bakeries are everywhere. One of the biggest things you need to think about before coming here is how okay are you with being in a small school. I was in a small school in middle school, and so I was like, oh, I can do this. I've done it before, because the class in my middle school was half the size of my class here. So I definitely thought I had it down pat, and coming here, I thought I was gonna be okay with it. And I mean, for the most part, I am. There's a lot of things that are drawbacks and things that suck about it. The biggest thing that sucks is that when you come in orientation week, everyone is gonna be best friends. Everyone's gonna love each other. Everyone's gonna tell you how glad they are to be friends with you and to meet you and blah, blah, blah. And I had prepared for that, but I didn't expect that to come from just about everyone, and it really comes from just about everybody. And then once you start school, it really starts to like wear off, and people are like, okay, this isn't a summer camp. We actually have school now. And school, it took a while for it to feel like school, because like we were just also like open and excited and whatnot. And so when things actually started becoming harder, it just showed people's true colors. Like, I knew it was gonna happen, and when drama does happen, a lot of the times everyone is consumed, whether indirectly or directly. If you hear about it, everyone hears about it. So if I know something about somebody, it's more than likely everybody knows. Especially in the first month, everyone talks to each other, and then everyone talks about everybody else, or it seems like it. And then you slowly start to hear yourself being talked about, and you hear what other people said. It's just a circle, and I think it just comes with being with a small school. The drawback, which is why I really wanted to go to NYU in New York, was because you had such a huge class that you could literally make friends with somebody every day and not make friends with the whole class. You could afford to make mistakes, and you could afford to mess friendships up, whether you mean to or not. I thought I was gonna be okay with being with a small school, and I am, but there are just some drawbacks. The second thing I need to think about is that the school is still new. Literally, it feels like it's always changing, which is a good thing, but it's also kind of scary because it's like, oh my God, it's always changing. One day it may be some way, and then in a few days later, it's different. I really can't think of anything too specifically, but just knowing like you'll get an email every few months about they're saying, oh, we updated something's happening, we revised this and that. And I'm basing this off from my friends in America, that they don't really get changes a lot at their school. It's basically the same because their schools have been there for a long time. But here it still feels all new. And with that newness, it comes with a lot of the staff and faculty feels like they don't really know how to answer questions. Like we may have questions about our major or what to take or something like that. And a popular response is, oh, I don't know, but I can send you someone's email so you can talk to them. Well, I mean, I guess that's okay, and I guess that's pretty good, but I always just expected that counselors and everybody and like the people who we're told have answers to our questions, and then they don't have answers to our questions. So that's just kind of annoying. I do kind of expect them to know some things, and a lot of the times it just feels like they're not helpful. It's like a dead-end block. So that's the third thing. I just came up with this on the spot. But the third thing is you really have to be super independent here. And I like that. I was independent back home, and being here, it's kind of awesome because everything is so independent. You do everything by yourself just about. Of course you have friends, but eventually you're gonna do everything by yourself. Even planning your school and everything, it doesn't feel like there's a big net to catch you, which is scary. But it also means that you force yourself to do things you necessarily would have. I plan my schedule like years in advance, and not because like I'm just this overachiever, but because there's things in my head where I think I might want to do this and I don't have one route, so I don't know. And I know in other universities you might be able to get help, and you might be able to ask other people how this went, how that went, and there's a big support group here. And I'm not trying to say like, I just realized that this probably looks really bad, like that there's no net. There is a net, but for me personally, it just feels like you're a lot more independent here because it's so small. So a lot of those factor up to one big thing. I feel like I'm by myself and doing things at my own pace because we're not really guided anywhere, which I mean is a part of life, and I like that. It is scary, and some days I know I should be doing things and I just don't do them. Ooh, this one is like this Japanese thing. It was like Japanese something, and it sounded interesting, so I'm gonna try it. This tastes weird. It tastes like bread around beef jerky, but if beef jerky had already been chewed on. So my next big thing that people need to think about is how much they want to learn Chinese. When you're told that you're going to be learning Chinese here, you're like, oh, it's not going to be that bad. It's just going to be like an extra thing where you have to complete. And when I got here, was like blindsided by this Chinese. Like, I ended up spending every day semester studying Chinese. I wasn't more looking for the grade. I was more looking for me to be able to use it. But I studied Chinese every day, that it felt like I was coming to school to study Chinese. And I know that's just because college language is a lot harder than high school language, and I really saw that. In high school, I didn't really have to do much in language class. I just kind of listened along, nodded my head, and made sure I knew a few words. In college, well, especially with Chinese, you have to learn how to write it, how to speak it, how to listen, and how to, I think that's all the groups that you need to know how to do. And one of my friends, I don't think she would care that I say this, but she ended up, it wasn't just this, it was many other things, but learning Chinese turned out to be such a big part in our education, like in the first year, that she felt like she wasn't going to use it in her real life. Like when she graduated, she wasn't going to use Chinese. She never wanted to come to China, she wanted to stay in America. So she just ended up transferring to another school. And that's like a big thing that we weren't told about. You're swiftly told you have to learn Chinese, and they don't give it much thought. But how much it plays into our education is a big part, I think. I think it plays in a big role. Like, I study Chinese just about every day. It's become easier because I learned how to do it. But still, it would have been nice to prepare myself to be like, okay, this can be hard. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm just gonna move down because this person is so loud with whatever they have. Another thing that I just thought about also, and I've talked to several people about it, and I've heard it from the other classes, so it's just not my personal belief. Okay, sometimes the sections like math, science, some of those sections are kind of especially awful. Like math. So far, I've talked to upperclassmen, and they said most of their math professors have been awful. That's just the over thing here, that some sections you just want to rip your brains out and like you hate it so much, and it's all because like the professors are nice, but there's only so much they know how to explain because most of them are bilingual. So saying it in your second language is difficult as it is, and you're trying to teach a course, and they're very oh my god, I'm so annoyed. But basically what I'm trying to say is that it's gonna be a lot of independent studying because they don't know how to answer questions a lot of the time, or they're just not willing. Like my calculus professor, he's just like not willing. He'll explain it, but then he'll say it's time for you to study by yourself. And this goes with English professors and non-native English speakers. So it's just overall. Maybe I'll delete that part because I feel like a lot of colleges are like that. It's just not what I was expecting, you know? I was expecting maybe a lot higher quality since I'm paying a lot to be here. I think that's gonna be all for this video. Those are just a few things I think you really need to think about. I tried to pick the ones that when I was looking at the school, I saw mostly that they were telling me were good and what good things you could do. One bonus thing is our food at the school. I watched those culinary videos that they have on the thing before I came here, and when I came here I was kind of shocked because it's like high school food. It's like cafeteria, high school, middle school food. It's not very good. It's not that expensive, but it's not that good. You can find better choices at Family Mart, the convenience store. That's one thing that I found really misleading and kind of annoying. The vendors this year have just like abruptly stopped serving half their selections because they're not making enough money. So they're just like withdrawing slowly, and they're not even finishing the contract that they signed because they're losing money. I hope you found this to be helpful. If you liked it, please like it. And if you know anyone who would benefit from this video, please share it. And I hope you see my next one real soon. Bye. Being able to answer questions and stuff. Hi. Jesus, she was like right in front of me this time. But huh? Oh, vlog. Oh my god, this is funny. That's the first time I've ever had someone come up and ask me what I'm doing while vlogging. This is why I don't do it. I get so self-conscious.